Hello, hello. Welcome to another very special edition of How to Do X and Y. Today, I'm going to do kind of a couple series of building out a front end. Our last video, we built a fully authenticated backend using Django, and these were our models. We had a user class, a trail class, and a review class. And so now we're going to start trying to work a little bit with the front end. When we last left it, we were able to go into Postman here, and we were able to add a user like that and successfully send a post request, I think this was it, to our login route and pass back a token and all that good stuff. But rather than going through Postman, we are going to try to successfully add a user through React. Probably take, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes, but we'll see. It's always kind of a guess. I haven't done it quite yet, or definitely haven't recorded. So we'll just take it one step at a time. I think the only thing that I did from our last session when we built all this out was add CORS in. So add CORS headers to this app. You have to add this middleware line right here. And you also have to add CORS origin allow all. I've tried adding false here, this value being false, and then like explicitly writing in localhost 8,000, or it would be localhost 3,000 from the front end for React, but I don't know, I haven't gotten quite that, gotten that to work totally. So I just allowed true. I guess in reality, like anyone could send a fetch now, but I feel like no one's gonna harm my data or anything like that. I'm not dealing with a bank or anything secretive. So I was able though to move this, just to config here secret key, and my secret keys in my .env file as just a key value pair kind of. So we'll get going here. I don't think that we'll need to really do anything else to the back end as far as I know. I did, right before we got started, I created a React app right here. I guess I was kind of practicing around, so I'll get into this React folder over here. And all I did was npx create React app, and I called it Django Trails Auth, which is pretty similar to this front end, or this back end. The back end is underscore. It's kind of good nomenclature for the back end, and then hyphen for the front end. So go back into our src folder and kick off our server again with Python manage.py run server. Server is running, and we can just kind of leave that going in the background. And then we don't need to run this again, but we do need to open up the code editor. And this is like as boilerplate as you can get with React. I have not touched this file at all. If we were to do npm start like this, we would see the React logo just pop up like so. Does React takes a little bit to kick going, but yeah, so just Facebook React logo. And the first thing that you almost always have to do with a React app is delete the logo. Now it fails to compile. I delete everything except I do leave the app right there. Delete the logo up there from the import. CSS, I keep everything centered still, but get rid of all that. And in the HTML, the index.html, I delete both of these and usually replace the favicon icon, but we'll skip that for now. And in order to avoid a console log error, I delete that and delete this, and we'll call this Django Trails Auth, just to keep it consistent on the title. And there's a couple other things that I usually do in here, but we'll leave all that there for now. And back in our App.js folder, let's see, just trying to think the best way to do this first. I was gonna do, maybe we can kill our npm host for now. And I like doing material UI forms, I think it is. And they give you like a good, no, There's like material UI templates that I like to see. Yeah, this was the one. We'll just do the simple sign up one, I think is a good one for our purposes right here. And they give you just some source code over here that we'll bring in. And first we'll make a components folder within our SRC. Components. And a new file called SignUp.js. And then within our app, we'll have to import that. I usually do it above the CSS line. Import signup, and capitalization matters, from components / signup. And I always forget, but I think it's period, like so. And then down here, loop in the sign up component. So we have nothing in our app right now, and then we'll have a sign up page as a component, like so. And then we can bring in our sign up component folder, or sign up file, we can bring in all of this stuff over here and remove all of the indentations by just doing a tab over. And so we're importing React from React, as well as all of these material UI, their core functionality, as well as I think there's also this icon here. So we'll have to do a npm install material UI React. And this is the command right here for the core functionality. npm install material UI core. And then since they have these icons here like that, we will also need to npm install material UI icons. Like so. It does take a little bit. So in the meantime, maybe we'll let that go in the background and we can start messing around with our sign up page. I am not fully comfortable with doing hooks quite yet. I have used them occasionally. I am getting better, but I wouldn't feel great about using them for this lesson. So we are going to use state for the form. So I am going to switch this instead into a class component so that we can use state, and that is extends component, like so, and import React, and we'll destructure it with the component, like so. And it currently is tossing, our linter is giving us a good amount of errors because it can't find the material UI stuff. So we'll hopefully do what we can to bring that in right now and hope that our errors get thrown. And then within a class component, you need to, I don't think you can define a constant like that. And you need to do a render function, render and invoke it, and then open it up. And all the return statements go in like that. And then close off what we open down here. And we can also indent these over like that. Cool, so it picked up, now since we did npm install the icons as well as the, what else did we do? Just the core material UI core. It is now reading all of that correctly. It's not grayed out or anything, but our linter was tossing us errors as we no longer need to use styles like this. The class is equal. I think that we can just go like this, and now our consonant, our use styles up there can just be use styles like that. And now whenever we call use styles in our return function, it is going to pick up on this line up here, or this function, and call on use styles to do our dot paper and dot everything else. So you don't need to define it down within in a functional component. You'd have to call it within there. But instead we made this a class component. And now, since our linter is no longer showing us any errors at all, let's try to do a npm start again and kick off the app again and just see how we're looking. It should just basically look, I guess, it should almost look just like this, that sign up thing there. Yeah, so you're able to type right here and everything, and email address, and some stuff is kind of already saved in. I think the copyright down here looks good, but I'm not a big fan of so this really, I don't think that we're going to write in code in order to loop in their email address and all that. So I think we can just, for now, gray that out almost. I'll leave it so that that the promotional items and things like that, yeah, that's really not doing much. And I'm not a big fan of having it just be there just because. And then same with this right here. For now, we'll just leave it as grayed out. However, a lot of our indentations look like they're kind of messed up a little bit. I don't know where. This is the button right here, and it should be this grid, I guess, right there. So we got rid of the promotional sign up, and then we want to get rid of already have an account, because it's really, we're not going to write any code to do any of that. Eventually I'll delete it, but for now, just to make sure that we're okay, and we'll maybe eventually add some padding there. Maybe that got rid of the padding. Can we just get rid of this here, and then, I guess the padding kind of got away, but we can handle that some other time. And next we'll have to, so right now we have first name, last name, email address, and password. And I'm going to give these a little bit of space here. Grid container spacing is 2, but then these are all the grid components like this. And this one's a text field. And then this is the next one, and so on and so forth. There's the first, I guess there's 4 right there. And it looks like this one right here is 12 width, and then these are 12 by 6. So maybe we'll do, so we have to pass everything that we pass in our, so when we made a user and got a successful post request, we gave it a username, a password, an email, a full name, age, and experience. So 6 fields. So this one maybe we'll call username, like here. And the label will also be username. And maybe we'll do this one as password. And type equals password rather than the default would be text, but we'll do password. And it's a password. We'll keep it lowercase there. The name has to be password, and autocomplete, we'll still call it password. Down here is our first like longer field. We'll keep that one at 12, and the email. That all looks fine. The next one here would be their full name. That's probably fine to keep at 12. So we'll take all this and do full name like that. Label, maybe we'll do as full name, so the user can type in their full name, and then maybe we'll make 2 more fields that are like kind of side by side almost, and these will be for age, and the label we want capitalized, and experience down at the last one. Is experience. Okay, so we should, this looks, pretty solid. I want to figure out how to get a little bit more padding between experience and sign up, but we'll still, when the user comes in and types in, they'll make and sign up, they'll make a username and password and an email, write in their full name, their age, and experience. I feel like that's pretty good flow and looks okay, and it should match up to this exactly. The name field, I believe, is the most important in order to, this is a form like this. The form is right here. And so when the user submits the form, it will post to our backend. And in order to do that, underneath the make styles, well, first, underneath the component, let's add some state. So I always make state as, or use class components and add state like so. You could also keep it as a functional component, use a use state hook, but the username we'll set as blank. We'll set the password as an empty string like that. We'll do email as maybe, we can probably just do all of them as empty string. Their full name also as an empty string, because they'll know what to type in as they run through the form due to the labels. So we really don't need to tell them. So those are our state. That's our state, and they're kind of initialized as just empty strings. And you'll be able to, if you right click and do components, sign up, all of our state is added like that, all 6 of our fields, the same 6 fields that we have to send through like that. And then the next thing to do would be to handle the change. So I'm not like really sure how right now you can change, but we want the form to be connected. We want each field to be connected to the state. And I think if we just try like, if you do the value equals, this is what, this.state.username. If we set the value like that, then like we're typing everything and can't, because we're trying to change the state, but the form doesn't know the state. It thinks that the state is always just this blank. So we need a onChange function, and we'll call it this this.handleChange, and then define our function as handleChange equals, it's going to take in an event, and we'll open it up with 2016 syntax and set the state with, open that up to give us a little bit of room, of the event.target.name, which is the name field right here. Event.target.name is the key, and then the value is event.target.value. So whatever the user types in, and this is supposed to be in brackets rather than parentheses. So what the user types in will then become the state. So if you refresh, and I don't know why my autofill is always set to that, but if we go back into the components now and see our state, so right now the state is whatever in the field, but we can change everything now, and you can see the state change as the user types in. So now we're able to change everything. And yeah, we'll just, for now, we'll bring all these down, and these are going to be required in every field. And to keep it, yeah, maybe we'll move, just for consistency, move these to the bottom there, and then put that down here and change that to password. This to the email. This loops into the full name. Age, it still has a string. And then our final one is experience. That. And so now the user would be able to do like their, say, password 123, dancats@gmail, full name is Dan Katz, and 32, and experience moderate. But of course, we're still not able, I guess it does submit. I wouldn't, definitely, we haven't told it to where it should submit. It is funny that it just kind of submits the form, but it goes out into the ether. It's not really, we haven't told it to post anywhere. So that will be our next kind of task, will be, we want it to send, when the user hits sign up, when they hit submit, we want it to send to our backend, and that is to, of course, we'll make a constant up here, const users URL. So we're trying to get it to send to this specific URL right here. And I'll still copy it in, but I have sometimes had problems with sending it to this 127.8000. I think it works better to do local host :8000/users, and you do want that, we want that hyphen there, like that. In order to save any errors, we'll just comment those out for now and clean it up and at the end. But so now we defined our user's URL, which is the same. We're trying to send all this information to this URL like that, exactly like that. We created that controlled form that when they hit sign up, when they hit submit, hopefully we can send a successful post request to the backend. So we'll do I guess we'll do it right on above the handle change, and do another handle submit equals, it's going to take in an event and open it up with ES 2016, and we'll do an event.prevent default and call the function so that one of the best parts about React is you never really have to refresh, or you shouldn't have to refresh. So we don't want the form to or the page to refresh when they hit submit. So that just causes the user will change the state by this handleChange function and then send to the backend once they're ready to submit. After this, we'll do a fetch to our user's URL and open it up like so, and not end it here, but do comma and open it up like this, and we can end it down there. And we're doing a post request. I like doing single quotes usually, just feel like it. It's just a little bit better. And our headers are, we're going to accept, I feel like this is pretty standard, application /JSON, and content type, which I'm not positive is definitely mandatory, but we'll keep them in there just in case, and quotes of those. And that should end our headers key value pair, so we'll do a comma, and then body of, we'll stringify it and open it up with all of our state. And this goes in as a hash, or an object, I guess, from JavaScript, of this.state.username. And we can copy this down, and we want to send over whatever. So if we were to do it right now and hit submit, it would send over all blank strings, which Django does have built-in strong params already, so that won't really work. But that's how it'd send over right now. But then the user, of course, will change in their values, and that changes state. That makes update state due to setting state with the handleChange. And then when we send the post request, that will send over everything as state. So if we go over to here and we go to our state and see our sign up, right now we just have Dan Katz and password 123. We can do Dan Katz at Gmail, Dan Katz, say he's 34, and his experience is moderate. And so this is, all 6 of these items would get sent over exactly like this. And I think the last thing that we would need to do is within our form on click equals, so once they click that sign up button, this.handleSubmit, like that. And I think that we should be okay to try this, to test this out. And we can look at the network request and make sure that everything is okay. This should not be on click. It should be on submit. So once I submit the form, then handle the submit function like so. So let's see, let's try, we'll do someone else, Eastine 1988, do still password 123, Eastine 1988, and let's check over to the network tab, and let's say Elliot Stein, and maybe let's do 86 instead, 34, and still moderate. And click sign up, and looks like we got a successful post to the database, which is what we wanted to see. So our response was a successful, and then I guess it fetches again the users, but we got a 201 creation with this post, with sending over that form within the body. Our payload was all of our everything that we just typed in, the password 123, and then our response was we got back a hash password, which is exactly what we want to see, which is good. We can also chain off of this. I do a dot then whatever the response is, and then here let's maybe first do if we just did the same thing but did like, or who did we just made one of East I 1986. So let's try all the same things, and I'll show you what gets sent back. East I 1988, Elliot, and is 23, let's call it this time, and do moderate still. But if you try doing sign up like that, it got a user with that name already exists, and that was a 400. So what I do is if we get a response, if the user tries to submit and gets a response dot status, you can go in and see all what you're able to call on this somehow, maybe through the console. Somewhere there's able to see everything that you're able to call within. I guess if you do a console, if you log it, you would be able to see everything that you're able to call on it, but one of them is status. And if it equals 400, we'll say, so really anything that's a bad request, we'll set up a ternary like this dot set state of an error message being so user already exists, word or email blank, and then if it's anything else other than that 400, which is usually a 201, like we got the first time, we'll set that state and do still an error message, even though it wouldn't really be an error, just to keep it easy as a ternary. We'll say user successfully created, like that. And then since we're setting state of that error message, we have to do a error message as a blank string, like that. And we need to close off this right here, this then, and this lines up with that. So this would go here, like so. And then down here, underneath the form, or pretty much everything, when the user clicks on it first, they won't see anything, but we could do like an H3 of this.state.error message. So when they first click on it, it would be blank, but then, or when they first go to the screen, it would be blank, but then if they get a success, so we could try to make a new user, do like, I think Alex 95 hasn't been in there, still password 123, do a cowblade.12@gmail.com. Say she's 45, and again, moderate experience, should get, yeah, user successfully created. And you could create some CSS to make that green or red or what have you, whatever you wanted to call it. So that's with an ID or something like that. That pretty much does it. We're successfully making users. If we were to go now to our localhost 8000/admin again, you'd be able to go in and see the users, and they're all being created in our Postgres database. And we are interacting with the front end. Thanks again for joining me. I'll keep building this out over the next couple of lessons, and we'll keep watching the front end come alive. Thanks again.